where the share prices had fallen by 70 to 80%, the FMCG has been what is called a good defensive stocks. Companies like Unilever, ITC, Dabur, Marico. There are a number of companies where the existing management team, the CEO plus the total team, the senior management of 50 to 100 people is continuing, and that's a very steady, good platform to engage. Telecom companies in India have been doing well in terms of top line, although the revenue per customer is falling, there are cost pressures, but companies like Bharti has now become the world's third largest telecom company with 100 million customers, and they have now a hope in the next 3 years of reaching 200 million. These are mind-boggling numbers. When I was chairman of the telecom committee, the tele-density in the country was less than 1%. And telecom has been an interesting technology revolution. If we had relied on laying telephone lines, we would have never crossed 2% or 3% by now. This technology of cell phone, where you can set up towers and reach the people, and the way the common people have taken on to it, has completely filled the gap. And now we need a similar revolution, for example, in the power sector. I was recently in a conference in Toronto, Canada-India Energy Forum. Some people from the Indian power sector were there. And the proposition that I made there was that Indian power sector should follow the telecom model and not rely only on coal-based power stations and long transmission lines, but go heavily into renewable power, wind, solar, and various kinds of innovations in gas, micro turbines and so on, whereby we can decentralize and reach power, because IT now, laptops, internet, cafes are reaching out, and the main problem there would be availability of power. Now, the world itself has learned from past experiences and acted fast. The G20 meeting, which is called in London, many people were skeptical, but all governments have taken the cue that pure Milton Friedman monetary economics will not work. Governments have to become temporarily active, shedding any kind of ideological restraints, and there has been a huge stimulus through the World Bank and IMF, another $1 trillion, which are being made available to various countries. The engineering sector has continued to perform well in India. Companies like L&T, Gammon, the capital goods sector, which means that companies which were running down inventories, deferring capital investment, are now beginning to dust up their annual plans for the current year and their investment plans for the future. And in the automobile sector, surprisingly, sales of cars and two-wheelers have revived in the last 6 months, and Hero Honda as a company has surprised everyone, including the customers and the shareholders worldwide. Internationally, some companies have withstood the storm very well, and they have good, strong continuing managements. IBM is one of them. General Electric, huge investment plans, $45 billion that their chairman has announced just last week. Among the auto companies, Toyota has survived very well. Relatively, Honda has reported their first loss in 14 years. Nokia cell phone company has managed to continue to do very well. Cisco is doing well. But this is not the case in several other companies. These are relatively more exceptions. There are many companies with new managements, both within India and globally. Within India, the most prominent case is Satyam, which was not only a financial hit, the entire IT sector hit by export problems from the US, and the share price is going down. Satyam was hit by an additional fraud by the promoter. I have always maintained a distinction in various talks and question-answer sessions during those 3 months, that we must make a distinction between Satyam, the organization, which is an independent entity with several outstanding professionals, very competent people in the organization, 40, 50,000 of them, and one promoter who has been greedy and mismanaged his funds and borrowings and manipulated the accounts. So quite rightly, government put in a board. The board did a good job, and they have done the right thing of calling for bids, and now Satyam is in safe hands with Tech Mahindra. So there is a new management there. All the people in Satyam will have to cope with this new management, and that new management faces a different kind of challenge. The same competent team of Dilip Nair and his management team It is one thing to run Tech Mahindra, which you have known very well, where you are accepted already as a legitimate top manager. And it is another to manage an organization which has had a deep fall in its morale and confidence, self-esteem, almost written off, people looking for jobs outside, placement agents trying to poach the talent. To rebuild the morale in that organization and manage them will call for different kind of internal skills as well as consulting inputs. The problem in the Indian pharma industry has been brewing for some time, and this financial crisis has hit the US healthcare expenditure. And also the US multinationals squeezed by their own crisis, R&D expenditure, and patent medicines are turning their attention to fight generic medicines coming from India. As part of that, one company saw maybe the writing on the wall and exited at the right time, Ranbaxy. So it's all right for the Ranbaxy promoters, but not for the Ranbaxy plants, employees, the quality problems with the FDA, and the new owner, Daiichi of Japan, who have taken over the company, a new management, has to deal with this otherwise excellent company, very well built up by Dr. Parveen Hussain, a lot of human resource talent, technical capability, patents of various kinds, master files, applications in the US, but temporarily they have had to write off $3 billion in their annual accounts. Internationally, even a company like Sun Microsystems is gone, taken over by Oracle. Several companies are competing for it. Chrysler, under Chapter 11, will now be part of Fiat globally. So many more changes are coming and it's taking place. I don't want to go into too many examples here. Then there is a third new kind of organization. This comes through acquisitions. Merger is normally between two relatively equal sized companies. Acquisition is when a larger company takes over a smaller one and the smaller one ceases to exist. This will lead to newer kinds of management challenges inside. There's also divestment that is taking place. Punjab National Bank, which wants to focus on core banking business, is hiving off its housing finance subsidiary. That's their management position. On the other hand, the Tata Group, because it's already a diversified group, a large group with goodwill, is in fact entering one field for the first time and re-entering another field through Infinity Retail. The Chroma products, you remember Tatas are into the retail business, and they're planning to set up countrywide a network of new shops, and they are re-entering the housing finance business through the Tata Sons subsidiary. Bharati is going into retail as well. Now, the fact that companies are diversifying and there are mergers does not guarantee success. This does not. I'm not mentioning these as examples of perfect strategy. All strategy, as you know, has two dimensions. One is the merits of the logic behind the strategy. At that time, one can do some analysis. The other is even a good strategy, if not well implemented, may later appear to be the wrong strategy. So execution is more than half the problem, and that's one place where management consultants with different capabilities, organizational structure, systems, team building, motivation.